Welcome, viewers. In this short video, I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about the latest trade books that I have available in which you might be interested. So let's just tee up my usual kind of PowerPoint presentation here, and let me tell you about my latest books. First of all, I have the latest edition, the second edition of my book for adults with ADHD, which is Taking Charge of ADHD. This book goes over not only everything you need to know about ADHD in adults, about causes, comorbidity, impairments, other issues, but it is rife with suggestions, recommendations, strategies for dealing with the symptoms of ADHD. In addition, it provides ample references to other research articles, other trade books, other websites on which you might find very useful information. And then, of course, it goes over the major treatment components for a treatment package that we recommend for adults with ADHD. So if that's of interest to you, please have a look at it. You can find it at these various publishers, Amazon.com, of course, Guilford.com, and other online booksellers. My other book out there is for parents of ADHD children. This is Taking Charge of ADHD, the complete authoritative guide for parents. And again, you can find this at the same booksellers I just mentioned. In this book, I do for child ADHD what I did in the last book for adults with ADHD, talk about the disorder, its causes, comorbidities, life course, and all the things parents need to know about child and teen ADHD, but I also go into strategies for working with schools, for managing child behavior at home. We talk a lot about the medications for ADHD and other science-based treatments, and then I discuss the treatments you should not necessarily do for ADHD because they don't have much evidence for them. Again, this book has at the back a lot of resources that you can tap into, as well as references to other trade books and research articles. So if you're a parent of an ADHD child or teen, you might want to have a look at this book. The third book I want to talk about is one that I wrote toward the end of my career. And I was thinking about, as my career ends, what do I think are the essential ideas that parents need to know to raise a child or teen with ADHD? And I sat down and I went through what I thought were very basic ideas. If you know nothing else about ADHD, then these are the things you really need to know. So this is sort of a follow-up book to the last one, Taking Charge of ADHD, in which I go through 12 different major ideas that will help you understand, manage, and raise a happy, well-adjusted, successful ADHD child. So please have a look at this one as the follow-up to the last one to see what these principles happen to be. And again, same publishers that you can find for this book as with the earlier ones. Now, my other book was published through the American Psychological Association Press, and this is for loved ones of adults with ADHD. So if you're a spouse, a partner, a parent, a sibling, or just a good friend and you want to know how to help someone with ADHD, this is the book for you, where we talk about advice for dealing with someone with ADHD, helping them get resources, helping them get diagnosed and treated. What are the major treatments for them? Just all kinds of issues that come up in a relationship for someone that has a friend or spouse or partner with adult ADHD. So if you happen to be one of those, this is the book for you. Now, if you're an educator, I wrote this book. It is a small book, but it is loaded with over 80 different strategies for dealing with a child or teen with ADHD in the school system. So it's pithy, it's very much a bullet point kind of book in going through the very basic things you need to know as a teacher or special educator in working with someone with ADHD in the school system. So you can get this over at Pessy.com, of course, Amazon again, or other online major booksellers. But if you work in schools, I think this is a must-have for all the different things you could be doing to help a child or teen with ADHD. I have two books on defiant children, defiant teens, oppositional defiant disorder, if you want to call it that. My first book for parents is Your Defiant Child, 8 Steps for Better Behavior. This is based on my long-standing clinical manual that is used extensively throughout the US and elsewhere by clinicians in working with families to train them on how to manage a child with oppositional or defiant behavior. So this book has a rich history in my professional manual, and we took that manual and rewrote it for parents so that they can have the same information that we teach in our parent training programs on how to deal with a defiant child. So if you have one of those, have a look at this book. I think you'll find it very helpful. Again, very rich in strategies and methods to use in making your child uh, and your relationship with your child a lot better. Then there is my book for teens, Your Defiant Teen: 10 Steps to Resolve Conflict and Rebuild Your Relationship. This book is based upon another clinical manual of mine called Defiant Teens that I wrote with Arthur Robin. Arthur Robin is an expert on family therapy with ADHD teens. He had developed his own program called Problem Solving and Communication Training. I had my program for defiant children and defiant teens. We got together, combined our two programs because we thought they worked well together. We then tested these programs in a series of federally funded research grants and realized that the combination was better than either of our treatment programs alone. So we published a clinical manual, Defiant Teens, for professionals, and then we went out and rewrote that for parents so that they can have the same strategies that we use in our clinics for working with an oppositional teen to help you reduce your family conflicts. And again, you can find this book over at Amazon or at Guilford.com or other online booksellers. Finally, let me tell you about a book. This one's for professionals. This one just came out a couple years ago. And this is on treating ADHD in children and teens, what every clinician needs to know. It is the latest state-of-the-art understanding of ADHD as a disorder of executive functioning and self-regulation. It goes through all the information that you need to know about etiologies, comorbidity, outcomes, and so on, impairments. And then it goes through each of the major evidence-based treatments that clinicians need to be aware of in advising families with ADHD children and youth. In addition to that, the back of the manual contains a lot of different interviews, rating scales, fact sheets, helpful handouts that you can give to families as part of your professional practice. So that alone is well worth getting this manual because you can photocopy those scales, interviews, forms, and so on, use them in your private practice to give to families that you may be counseling about their child with ADHD. So have a look at this if you're a professional who wants to specialize in ADHD. So there you have it, folks. Those are my latest books. I hope you find any of them or some of them interesting. If so, you can find them over on my website. Also, at the major publishing companies that I've listed beside each book. Thanks for joining me for this video. I'll hope you join me for other ones. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you around on another episode of my YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, and be well.